Questions from the floor, please.
Hi, it's somewhat been covered, I think, but the intricate universes you create in your books and the characters you develop therein, when you start writing about a particular character, is the character fully formed, or is it let's let them loose and see where they go?
God bless you for that one. That's a very good one. Can't see you. I think you're that. Well, I'll make him. I don't know. Commander Vines is so fully formed in my mind that he actually drives his own plots. I don't quite know how this thing works. In Snuff, I suppose, how can I put it? Because it sounds, what I just said was rather stupid. I've played around with his character for such a long time now that I'm absolutely certain about what he would do in any particular circumstances. And so he drove Snuff along quite well for me. And actually I think that the same goes for Tiffany Aching and probably Granny Weatherax. Once you get the character so close to you that you really do think that you know them, then something in them somehow helps you along. There's only it's the only way I can put it.
Any more questions? I'm amazed that there's no hands up. Come on, is it?
Hi there, thanks for tonight. You've mentioned at least 4 books that seem to be in your head at the moment. How many do you have in the process of being written in there?
One, oh Lord. Some bits of Long Earth 2 I've done. Nothing much really of Science of Discworld 4. Quite a lot of the Discworld one, at least for me to get to the point where I know what I'm doing. That's going to be a fairly big book too. It will have to accumulate, you know, to put in everything I want to put in it. And that's about it, I think.
And the autobiography?
Well, the autobiography is there when I've got nothing else to do, which is, but then I've always got something else to do. I've probably got enough, and sooner or later I'll have to dig into the vaults and chuck out all the stuff. I've sent him some bits. I sent Colin some bits. And I think he'd rather enjoy knocking them all into shape. But I haven't even got in the autobiography to go any further than the day that I actually went as became a freelance writer. You know, that was a big day for me. And for most people, that would be what my history is, but there's an awful lot of history in that. And the things I remember, I mean, let me tell you one memory of my childhood, which I put in there. I lived in a place called 40 Green in Beaconsfield, Buckinghamshire. And it was a nice little place just on the side of the Chiltern Hills. And it was, everyone there was poor, but no one knew they were poor because there was no one there who was rich. And no one had any television, so they didn't know they were poor. And all the old boys that lived there all looked almost exactly the same. They had the same old boy cap, and they had, you must have had these in Ireland too, they used to have a belt with 2 buckles. Yeah? Are both better for fighting. And they used to drink their tea by actually tipping the tea
into the saucer.
Into the saucer. Mm-hmm. Here too.
Oh yeah.
I remember, and then slurping it up. And most farm workers used to do that. And
cools it down.
Oh, yes. Do you do it yourself?
Family tradition.
And it's one of the memories of my childhood I'm about to tell you. Now, 40 Green was divided from Beaconsfield proper by a lump of land. And through it ran something called the Dip. So we lived. So you'd go down to the bottom of the Dip and come up the other side to get to Beaconsfield if you were walking on a footpath. It was a bit different if you were driving. Not many people had cars even in those days, except my dad, because he was a motor mechanic and could keep one going. The old boys all had sit-up-and-beg bicycles. And every morning, that was about at least 3, possibly 5 of them in the village. They were all gardeners, and they used to go to Knotty Green, which was a posh place, and they used to do the gardening there. And every morning, I never saw them go because they always used to get up very, very early, and I was going to school. But every day they would go, all together to Knotty Green. Then in the evening, in the summer, they'd all come back at about the same time. And I was privileged one day to see something which just has left such a pleasant place in my memory. My mum and I were coming back from Beaconsfield, and we were walking, because everyone walked in those days, and we saw the flotilla of old boys on their sit-up-and-beg bicycles coming along the nice flat road from Beaconsfield to Knotty Green. And we were there just when they came to the top of the Dip, which meant they would have to go down into the Dip and up the other side. And they were on these big bicycles, which are very heavy things, and they obviously have one choice, to pedal hell for leather and go so fast, like a planetoid going past Jupiter. They would be slung higher up the slope on the other side. And they were all smoking their pipes as they were pedalling along, and they decided to do it. And I watched them go down the hill, and there was this smoke trail, and you could see 1 or 2 of them came up the other side of the Dip and then had, get on his bike quick before it went over. And it was just a strange thing to see in the countryside, and it just stayed with me all the time. Like the time, for example, we went. I never knew this was some old custom as kids. Us kids was rounded up, went into a field where they're just finishing the harvest, and the harvester was going round and round and round and round and round the field, and it was leaving a small space in the middle of the field where was just some of the corn was left. And you probably know what happens next. Then men come round and with a shotgun and one case and some sticks, and they'd go in and they'd kill everything that was trying to come out, because just about all the foxes or rabbits or everything else by then would have been and you get your dinner there, more or less. And that's, my childhood was full of good stuff, and a lot of good stuff has been put into the books, I have to say. Tiffany Aking has been the benefactor of many of them.
I think we've been the benefactor of many of them. I think that everybody knows libraries have rules. This library is an old dear. She's going to have to be put to bed soon. The librarian pointed out that number 1 rule was don't annoy the librarian, I think it was. There's no equivalent rule for bursars that I'm aware of, except don't ask them for money. We're going to have to wrap this up. I wanted to thank you for giving us the books.
Thank you.
And your time. I have to thank Rob for his eloquent reading. And
I have to thank you for all your money.
And it falls to me to thank the librarian and his staff, who've done a great job, and Sharon and the team have been excellent. Belinda and Simon Williams and the foundation who managed to get the logistics together, and all of you for your patience and for indulging us.
Thank you for this wonderful place.
And we'll bring you back again. I mean, you're an academic now.
Can I steal things?
License. You can steal back your own books.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Sir Terry Pratchett.